Hello and welcome to yet another Jujutsu Kaisen video. In this video, I want to dive into another Yuji theory, and I've been cooking a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Wait, something's not right. No, not the script, the other one. We'll start at the beginning of the theory with the introduction of Yuki. Yuki and Geto have a talk about the path that could be used to overcome curses. She explains that Jujutsu High only treats the symptoms and not the root causes of curses. She goes on to explain that she wants to create a world where there aren't any cursed spirits. She lays out option 1 would make all humanity lose their cursed energy. Option 2, to make humanity be able to control their cursed energy. Yuki at this time seems to be leaning on the second theory. And we all know that Geto creates option 3, kill all non-sorcerers. When Yuki reappears during the Shibuya incident, we get to see that she had changed her option to option 1. In her exact term, the next stage of humanity lies in breaking away from cursed energy. So this sparked for me the question on how one would get to that solution, and that's where we move on to the next person. The person she was stating this to, Kenjaku. Kenjaku is a man. I mean, woman. I mean, brain. Kenjaku is a brain. Kenjaku has lived 1,000 years, and throughout all this time, he's been experimenting with curses, cursed energy, and the evolution of cursed energy. We know that Kenjaku has experimented with the death wound painting, and was the one to help Sukuna create his fingers. Yet, what does Kenjaku want? He wants to keep evolving and pushing cursed energy forward. He believes that humanity's future lies in optimizing cursed energy through chaos. He does state that what I create does not exceed the bounds of my own potential. And it seems in chaos is where he finds that potential to be reached. He transforms Tengen's barrier and starts the culling games. After the culling games are about to be finished, Kenjaku faces off with Chozo, so we get to see a glimpse of what may come if Tengen merges with all of Japan. This further proves that all Kenjaku wants is the evolution of cursed energy, without really knowing where it will be or where it will go. Keep pushing it further and further. So, when he finally gets his hands on Tengen, it starts. Then we jump to the ending of Kenjaku versus Takaba's fight. Yuta is able to jump Kenjaku and kill him. Right before Kenjaku dies, he states that his will be inherited and adds a new rule to the game, allowing Megumi to start the great merger between mankind and Tengen. Then we see Sukuna eat what I can only call is Tengen's fetus. Sounds kind of gross, but that's the best way I can describe it. Okay, so now we can only guess what happened from here. Sukuna is definitely going to merge with all of mankind, but we just don't know when yet. Before I go in on all of this, let's go back to what this video is all about. Yuji Itadori, my baby boy. Let's start off with the parents of Yuji, who are Jin and Kaori Itadori. We know that Kenjaku took over Yuji's mother, and one thing I do like to point out is that the scars on Yuji's mother's head are more healed than the ones Geto has, seemingly showing the good amount of time that has passed since he took over that body. And we all know that Jin wanted a child, but his wife had perished before that. So Kenjaku literally created Yuji. For what reason? Well, that's where I got to thinking that this is a very interesting topic. Let's look over things that we can confirm about Yuji. He has incredible strength, incredible durability. He can also keep the King of Curses, Sukuna, under control within his body. Sukuna needed a binding vow in order to take control of Yuji. I think Yuji was designed and created to be able to be a vessel for all cursed energy. Yuji was created by Kenjaku, and even at the end of the Shibuya arc, Kenjaku states to Yuji, "I expect much from you." This furthers my idea that Kenjaku's role for Yuji has not yet been completed. We know that from chapter 2, Gojo says that there's no guarantee that a vessel capable of controlling Sukuna will ever come around again. In my understanding, it makes me think that Yuji is the first of his kind. I know he states later after giving Yuji the second finger that once only every 1,000 years or so does such a person with phenomenal ability like this appear. I take this more along the lines of ability of suppressing a curse or just potential in general. We know that Kenjaku wants to evolve and optimize cursed energy by merging Tengen with all of mankind. But how would someone be able to withstand all that cursed energy? You would literally have to craft a vessel, would you not? So here comes Yuji, a boy capable of suppressing Sukuna. We know the perfect solution that Kenjaku was looking for. Then we look at the current landscape of Jujutsu Kaisen. We are currently fighting a Sukuna that has taken over Megumi's body, and Yuji trying his best to break him apart. I do believe that the merge will happen, but Megumi will be free and Sukuna will process the merge alone. Or we could even say that Megumin is part of the merge as well. Then the rest of the crew will have to fight this new form of Sukuna. I will not even try to speculate how they're going to bring down this beast of a Sukuna, because to be honest, I've been shocked with almost every single chapter that has come out thus far. I will be spitting out these videos more and more if it's not for the fact that Gege has surprised me at every turn. That, and I also don't want to look like an idiot working on a script and a theory for a video just for it to be completely wrong. With that, I will move on to Yuji's role. Yuji from the beginning of the series has been asked the question what it means to have a meaningful death. I believe that Yuji will be able to merge or be the vessel of Sukuna before or after the merge. This will be how Yuji is able to hold all of the cursed energy of mankind. With him being able to suppress this amount of energy, he'll be able to have a meaningful death. Now that the higher ups have been killed and there's no need for the execution to happen, Yuji will live a long, prosperous life and die with many people surrounded in his bed. But this is Jujutsu Kaisen, so talking like that or thinking like that is very, very far out there. Am I right? I do think there are other hints or clues about Yuji that really help this theory out a little bit. Let's jump into when Sukuna took over Megumin's body. There are two things that Sukuna states during the fight with Yuji that foreshadow a lot. One is when he has the inner monologue stating, right, this brat is from back then, and shortly after, damn, that Kenjaku sure is twisted. So diving into the he is the brat from back then, I always thought about this statement. Like, why does Sukuna really despise Yuji, never calling him by his name and always calling him brat? So why does he harvest so much hate for him? Maybe it's because Kenjaku looked into the sorcerers that were able to defeat Sukuna during his Heian era. During the current fight with Sukuna, he states about Yuji's soul, that no matter how many times he breaks it, he'll get right back up, finding Yuji to be so irritating due to his ideals that he thinks that he can beat Sukuna, someone who is far superior than him. We also must look at Yuji's so-called soul swapping abilities. If a soul can be swapped, similar to how Kenjaku swaps bodies, couldn't the soul be transferred over and over again or even stored? So we get back to yet another Kenjaku quote. The body is the soul, and the soul is the body. Many examples have proven that this is true when it comes to the body. Geto choking Kenjaku during Gojo's ceiling, and a little thing I do like to point out during this scene is at the end of Jujutsu Kaisen 0, Geto loses his right arm. This is the same arm that he's used to choke out Kenjaku, and I think this really helps the case that the body and the soul are combined. Just a little call out from Gojo to have Geto really react. Then we have Toji coming back and overpowering his soul with his body. I understand only the body came back and he was just a killing machine and going berserk, but when he saw Megumin, he killed himself not wanting to kill his son. Yet, we haven't seen the other way around, the strength of the soul overtaking a body. So a sub-theory here is that Kenjaku wanted to be able to store a soul or create someone who can move through souls or move souls. As far as we know, Yuji has no curse technique of his own at this time, so we can only speculate what that is. Let's look into what Yuji said to Mahito after beating him, the famous I am you. But what if it's more than that? Not just the fact that Yuji kills cursors the same way Mahito kills humans, but in changing his soul. Looking at his new arms, what if he altered them just to be stronger the same way Mahito altered his body? It is a wild theory, but my main point in all of this is the soul is the aspect of it all. As of recent, it has been so much emphasis on souls, Yuji being able to hit the part of the souls that binds Megumi and Sukuna, reading up on souls from Yuki's book, and so much more. Let's wrap back to the little ending that I discussed earlier. I had another theory about what could happen as well. Let's say Yuji is able to get through to Megumin and split Sukuna from his body. Where does he go? Would he go anywhere? Well, what about the Tengen fetus? I believe Sukuna will be reborn and start the merger through that fetus, and he'll become whatever he'll become. Yuji and the rest of the sorcerers, including Nobara, because if we're talking about souls here, we need soul resonance. Just throwing out a little bit of copium out there, to have some fun. They will work together to stop Sukuna, and Yuji will be able to eat or absorb Sukuna one last time, putting an end to this fight. I could be wrong, and there's a possibility that Yuji is the one to undergo the merger because he is the vessel. I'm not 100% on the details due to this being a wild theory, but I've just been thinking about it a lot. I just think that Gege's choice in words are very meaningful and shouldn't be overlooked. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. I would love to hear any type of theories you have on JJK, or just let me know if you disagree or agree with me, or if I'm horribly wrong. I would love to know your reasoning for that. Thank you again for your support. I'm your bestest bro, and I'll see you when I see ya.